Okay, so now we are going to continue to topic 9. Okay, all right. All right, this is for topic 9. Okay, absorption costing and also marginal costing. So in this topic, actually, it's not very difficult because you just need to determine the POR, okay, for the fixed MOH and also the variable MOH so that you are able to calculate the cost per unit for both costing, okay. And once we already got the costing for both methods, okay, kita akan guna costing tersebut untuk kira beginning inventory, cost of good manufactured, and also ending inventory in your income statement. Okay, and after that, we are going to do the adjusting entries for the over apply or under apply overhead in the COGS sections. Okay, and then only we are able to get the gross profit or the contribution margin. Okay, so in topic 9, okay, the first thing that you need to do is actually you need to calculate the POR. Okay, it's actually a POR because you are going to find the estimated fixed manufacturing overhead and also the estimated variable manufacturing overhead, if any, right? And you need to divide the estimated values of MOH with the production unit given. Okay, so the basis for topic 9 normally is the production unit. Okay, so once you got the cost per unit for both methods, kita akan kira cost per unit. So you need to calculate the cost per unit for absorption. Okay, so it is called absorption because they serap semua. So they serap all the fixed MOH and also the variable MOH. Whereas for marginal, okay, dia akan serap hanya variables saja. So there won't be any elements of fixed MOH in the calculation for cost per unit in the marginal costing. So once you are done with that calculations of cost per unit, kita akan calculate the applied MOH and also the applied VMOH, fixed MOH and VMOH, okay, so that we are able to determine, okay, the over apply or the under apply MOH. So you need to do the adjusting entries. Okay, you need to adjust the figures given in the questions. When you have the over apply or under apply MOH, you need to use this figure to adjust your COGS to get the adjusted cost of goods sold. Okay, so fixed and variable MOH, the applied fixed and variable MOH, you need to combine both for absorption costing. And for marginal, you only do the adjustments for variable manufacturing overhead only. Okay, and then only we can start off with the preparation of the statement of comprehensive income for both costings. So we must make sure there are adjustments for the over applied and under applied is shown in the COGS section before you are able to calculate your gross profit. Okay, so once you are done with the statement, okay, you'll see a difference between the net profit in the marginal statement, marginal costing statement, and the net profit in the absorption costing statement. Okay, so by using both, okay, because previously in the variable manufacturing overhead, in the marginal income statement, okay, the fixed manufacturing overhead is missing. Right, it's not added into the cost per unit calculation. So that item is actually missing in the marginal section, marginal costing. So you need to do the reconciliation for both the net incomes, okay, to adjust the figures that you get for the net income in your marginal and in your absorption. Okay, so kita tahu kenapa berlaku perbezaan antara pendapatan bersih di marginal costing and in the absorption costing because of the fixed manufacturing overhead in the beginning inventory and also in the ending inventory. Okay, all right. So we look at this question. Okay, this example. Okay, normally in the question, you will be given a normal production, okay, normal production unit. So this is actually an estimation figure. Okay, so what's the purpose of having this normal production unit? Okay, you need to use this, okay, in order to find the POR for your variable manufacturing overhead and also for your fixed manufacturing overhead. As I said earlier, okay, the basis for POR in topic 9 will be the production unit. So kita akan guna the production unit which is given here, that is 24,000. Okay, kita akan bahagi dengan this fixed manufacturing overhead 240,000. We'll divide with 24,000 to get the POR for fixed MOH, and the variable manufacturing overhead which is 60,000, kita akan bahagi juga dengan 24,000 in order to get the variable manufacturing overhead per unit. And that figures that we got after the calculation is actually the POR. Okay, so kita belum guna lagi the actual data. Okay, even in the question itself, let's see in this question, the operating information for the year 2011. So bila kita nampak ayat macam ni, we know that the amount that the figures given in the question, okay, this is actually all your actual data. All right, but as you see here, you also have the variable manufacturing overhead and you also have the fixed manufacturing overhead. So some student will be asking, why can't I just use the variable manufacturing overhead and the fixed manufacturing overhead given in the question? It's already given. So why must I use the POR value first? Then I need to do the adjustment. Okay, kita kena faham, we are actually using normal costing. So in normal costing, you are not able to determine the amount for your fixed manufacturing overhead and also your variable manufacturing overhead before the production started. Okay, so once the production is completed, then only we are able to calculate the manufacturing overhead cost. So sebab tu, semasa kita nak letak cost per unit untuk setiap satu item, we are using the POR, okay, as to get the cost per unit. Okay, so these figures, even though it's given in the question, tapi nilai ni sebenarnya kita dapat, these two items yang Madam tick ni, nilai ni sebenarnya kita dapat after the production has been completed. Okay, so that one will be used during the adjusting entries later. Okay, so you have the beginning inventory, 2,000 units, okay. The production units is 20,000 and the sales unit is 17,000, okay. So ramai orang akan ingat ending inventory is actually 0. It's not 0. Okay, sebab you have the beginning inventory of 2,000. Okay, and then you produce 20,000. That makes you with a total of 22,000 units of goods. Okay, in hand, and then you sold 17,000 units. That means we still have balance with us, right? So that balance is actually your ending inventory. So not necessarily bila dalam soalan tak ditulis, kita akan buat anggapan the ending inventory, the unit of ending inventory is kosong, salah. Okay, you need to go through the beginning inventory units, the production units, and also the sales unit, and see whether you still have balance of the unit produced in hand after the sales activity. Okay, all right, so kita faham for normal costing, we are going to use the actual direct material value, the actual direct labor value, but for the MOH, which is the fixed MOH and variable MOH, we are going to use the one given on top of the question, which is this part. Okay, we are going to use the POR. Okay, all right, so we are acquired to use the absorption costing and marginal costing to calculate the cost per unit, and then we are supposed to prepare the statement, okay, for the year ended 31st December 2011. Okay, so for before we start doing the statement, the first thing that we need to do is actually calculate the cost per unit for each costing. So for absorption, you are going to have direct material, direct labor. Okay, here is where you calculate the POR for your VMOH, which is RM2.50. How do I get RM2.50? I got it from 60,000 given in the question, divided by the production unit the normal production unit, which is 24,000. Okay, that was given on top of the question. Okay, for the applied fixed manufacturing overhead, also we are going to use the same production unit given, okay, which is 24,000. Okay, kita bahagikan dengan 240,000, which is the fixed manufacturing overhead estimated given in the question prior. Okay, so we got the applied fixed manufacturing overhead of 10 ringgit. So this gives you the cost per unit for absorption, total of 42 ringgit and 50 cents, sorry. Okay, so for marginal, we are going to have all these two. That means we are still going to use the direct material and the actual direct labor value. Okay, but we are going to omit the fixed manufacturing overhead. We are only taking the variable manufacturing overhead, which is 2 ringgit 50 sen tadi. So the cost per unit for marginal costing is 32 ringgit and 50 cents. So when are we supposed to use these figures? Okay, figure ni kita akan guna semasa kita mengira the beginning inventory, the ending inventory, and the cost of good manufactured in your statement. Okay, so before we are able to prepare the statement, you need to do the reconciliation first. Okay, so in your question, the actual manufacturing overhead given is 56,000. Okay, tapi kita tahu the applied, that means you need to multiply the 2 ringgit 50 sen yang awak dapat from the calculations prior. This is your POR. Kita akan darab dengan actual unit produced, which is 20,000 given in the questions. So my applied variable manufacturing overhead ialah 50,000, tapi my actual is 56,000. So I got an under applied value of 6,000 ringgit for my variable manufacturing overhead. Okay, we are going to do the adjustment separately, and then we are going to combine for absorptions. And for marginal, I am going to take the adjustments for variable manufacturing overhead alone. Okay, all right, so for fixed manufacturing overhead, okay, so we are going to do the same thing. Okay, so the fixed manufacturing overhead here, we have the applied fixed MOH. You calculated just now, the POR is 10 ringgit. Okay, you have an extra zero there, sorry. Okay, so this is actually 10 ringgit. Okay, so 10 ringgit multiplied by the actual unit produced, which is 20,000. You get the amount of 200 ringgit, 200,000, and your actual fixed manufacturing overhead is given in the question, 180,000. So you have an over applied fixed overhead of 20,000 ringgit. So for absorption, I'm going to combine both. So I got under applied for my variable manufacturing overhead, and I got over applied for my fixed manufacturing overhead. So for the adjustment in my absorption costing statement later, okay, it's going to be an over applied manufacturing overhead with the amount of 14,000. So it is over applied. So that means in V, before I am able to calculate my adjusted cost of goods, so I am going to minus 14,000 sebab it's over applied, right? So kalau over applied in topic 7, how do you go about with the journal entry? You will debit MOH and we will credit COGS. It's over applied, right? So when the journal sees here, it's credit COGS. That means the COGS nanti in my statement, I will minus the amount of 14,000. Okay, so actually that adjusting entries that we did in topic 7 is actually shown in the statement in topic 9. Okay, all right, so for marginal costing, we are all going to focus only on the variable side. So we already done the calculations for variable. Okay, so for marginal costing, I am going to, it's under applied, variable manufacturing overhead. So I am going to add 6,000 into my variable cost of goods sold in order to get my adjusted variable cost of goods sold. Okay, all right. So bila kita buat statement macam biasa, okay, if it's for the absorption costing, you need to check the statement. Okay, for the year ended, for the month ended, depending on the question requirement. So for the year ended and for the month ended, there will be a slight difference, especially on the fixed items. All right. Okay, so kalau monthly, for the month ended, that means the fixed cost that is given for the whole year, you need to be, it needs to be divided into 12. Okay, tapi kalau for the year ended, that means you can just like pick the figure and put it, and straight away put into your statement. Okay, so sales, kita ambil unit yang diberi dalam soalan tadi, darab dengan harga. Okay, you get the sales amount. So macam biasa, we are going to calculate the cost of goods sold. You have the beginning inventory, and you can see here, the beginning inventory, kita akan multiply unit tadi dengan nilai yang awak dah kira dalam table earlier. Okay, so beginning inventory, RM42.50 multiply dengan 2,000. Cost of a good manufactured, we are going to do the same thing. So we get the cost of good available for sale. Lepas tu kita minus dengan ending inventory, which is RM42.50 darab 5,000. Macam mana dapat 5,000 tadi? Sebab beginning inventory you ada 2,000. Okay, and then you produced 20,000. Okay, and then you sold 17,000 units. Okay, so that leaves you with a balance of 5,000 units. So that will be your ending inventory units. Okay, so your cost of goods sold is 722,500. So tadi kita dapat over applied MOH of 14,000 ringgit. So when are we going to do the adjustment? After you've calculated your cost of goods sold, that amount will be adjusted below of the cost of goods sold calculated. Okay, so kita akan minus, but it's over applied, right? So kita akan minus the over applied overhead amount, which is 14,000 ringgit. So kita akan dapat adjusted cost of goods sold. So you have your sales, and then kita minus dengan adjusted of cost of goods sold, and you get your gross profit. Okay, so that's the first part of your statement. So later part of the statement, after your gross profit, we are going to calculate your net profit. So that means you're going to add in all your operating expenses given in the questions. So kita cuma ada dua item saja, which is a variable selling and admin expense, and also the fixed selling and admin expense. So in the question, the variable selling and admin expense is given per unit, which is 10 ringgit. So kita akan multiply dengan 17,000 unit. Okay, this is the sales unit. So you need to be very careful with this. Okay, kita akan guna sales unit. Okay, sebab operating expenses ni adalah perbelanjaan yang berkaitan dengan jualan. So any variable cost, okay, the cost driver, it is subject to the, it's not subject to the production unit, it is subject to the sales unit. So once I've deducted all these two, I'll get my net profit of 651,500 ringgit. Okay, that's for your absorption costing. And for marginal, we are going to do the same thing, but for marginal, we are going to separate the statement into two parts. Okay, the upper part of your statement will be your variable cost only, and the lower part of your statement will be your fixed cost. Okay, so as you can see here, we are using 32 ringgit and 50 cents. The sales amount is the same, yeah? All right, but in your calculations for the variable of cost of goods sold, we are going to use 32 ringgit and 50 cents to calculate the beginning inventory, the cost of good manufactured, and the cost and the ending inventory. Okay, so here, as you can see, you are able to calculate the variable cost of goods sold. Okay, this is variable cost of goods sold. And we have the adjustments for your COGS. So you will be doing the adjustment after you've calculated your variable cost of goods sold. So earlier I got under applied variable manufacturing overhead with the amount of 6,000. So dalam soalan ni kita akan tambah that 6,000 into your variable cost and goods sold, and you are able to get the adjusted variable cost of goods sold. Okay, so the slight difference between the absorption ialah perkataan variable ni, because we are segregating the variable cost and also the fixed cost in this statement. Okay, so once you dah dapat variable cost of goods sold, because to get your contribution margin, that means you need to take your sales amount, you need to minus with your variable cost. Variable cost, yeah, that means any variable cost that is incurred in the question. Okay, so besides having the variable cost of goods sold, kita ada satu lagi variable cost, which is variable selling and admin. So variable selling and admin ni dia walaupun perbelanjaan yang berlaku dalam jualan, tapi kita tak letakkan dia di bawah macam absorption sebab dalam marginal kita akan kira jumlah variable di atas, lepas tu kita akan minus dengan fixed cost di bawah. Alright, so I got my variable selling and admin just now, 10 ringgit multiplied by 17,000 unit. So you get the amount here. So these two, kita tak tolak ya, kita tambah. Sebab we want to get the total for variable costs. So I get the amount of 728,500 ringgit. Then only kita akan minus sales minus total variable costs, and you will get your contribution margin. So once you got your contribution margin, kita akan minus dengan semua fixed cost yang ada dalam soalan. Okay, so when I said semua fixed cost, that means semua fixed yang berlaku di factory and semua fixed cost yang berlaku di office. That is your period cost. So this is your fixed MOH and this is your fixed selling and admin. So we add up these two, we'll get your net profit of 621,500 ringgit. So you can see the difference between these two net profits in these statements. So we need to do the reconciliation. Okay, so nak buat reconciliation, you'll take the net profit in your absorption, 651,500. Kita akan plus dengan fixed manufacturing overhead in beginning inventory. So in beginning inventory, that means kita tahu fixed tadi yang kita kira dalam table tu is 10 ringgit. So the amount, the unit for beginning inventory is 2,000 units. So 10 ringgit multiplied by 2,000 is 20,000. And the fixed manufacturing overhead in ending inventory, kita akan ambil jumlah unit ending inventory tadi, which is 5,000. Kita akan multiply dengan 10 ringgit. So the absorption costing net profit plus the fixed manufacturing overhead in beginning inventory minus the fixed manufacturing overhead, okay, you will get the marginal costing net profit, which is actually the same as the one you've calculated in the statement. So if you do the reconciliation, you are not able to get the net profit in the marginal costing statement. That means your calculation is wrong somewhere. Okay, so that's how we go about with the statement and the reconciliation for both net profits in topic 9. Okay, next we're going to continue with topic 10. Okay, so in topic 10, the first thing that you need to do, you have to determine all the elements needed for each variance. The elements here, that means you need to find the standard hours, standard rate, standard price, and also the standard quantity. Okay, so these are the basic knowledge that you need to know when you are calculating the elements for each variance. So in variance questions, normally that is in question 3, okay, so you can use any method. It's either formula method or metric methods, or you can even mix the methods because the method is just meant for calculations. Okay, so how you go about with the calculations is all up to you. All right, there is no restriction saying that you can only use formula methods to answer the questions or metric methods to answer the whole questions given. Okay, so these are the formulas that you used to calculate the variance. Okay, so we have the price, quantity, and we are using the same terms for direct labor, variable manufacturing overhead, and also the fixed manufacturing overhead. Okay, so besides knowing the one in the bracket, okay, the one bowl, okay, you also need to understand when you expand the formula, okay, you also need to know, let's say you only memorize AQ multiplied by AP minus SP, but you also need to know when we expand the formula, you'll get APAQ minus SPAQ. Okay, this is what you are actually using for your matrix method as well. Okay, some of you are more comfortable using the methods, okay, but some of the students are more comfortable in using the formula. It doesn't matter as long as you get the answers correct. Okay. Okay, the most important thing in this question is actually you need to find all the elements needed so that it is easier for you to use the figures to answer the questions. Okay, so let's say in this example, topic 10, all right, you are only given the budgeted amount, okay, the budgeted value and the actual values. Okay, so I can't straight away go and answer the question based on the information given, because I only have the figures for the budget, the budgeted figures and also the actual figures. Okay, but I can straight away use the variable overhead here and also the fixed overhead, because this is actually ARA. Okay, the actual overhead for variable and also for this is actually serba. Sorry. Okay, this is actually serba. Okay, so I can straight away use this one, okay, to answer the questions, okay, by taking the figure and putting it into the matrix or into the formula given. And this is actually your ARA, all right? Okay. But for your standard hours, for your direct labor, okay, standard rate, standard quantity, and also standard price. Okay, you need to do the calculations by using the budgeted figures to get the amount. Okay, so your production volume, okay, this is your budgeted product, budgeted product production. Okay, that is your budget. It's BPU lah, right? Okay, and then this is your material use, material cost, and also your labor cost. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is actually, right, before I am able to calculate everything, okay, it's better for you to find the items, the standard figures before you are able to answer the questions. All right, so you need to find the SQ, okay, the SP, the standard hours, and also the standard rate. Okay, so we must understand, okay, when the item is in RM, that means the elements in RM is your standard price and also your standard rate. So this item, okay, you need to find the item per unit. So whenever I calculated the SP or SR macam ni, okay, macam tadi saya dah dapat. Okay, let's see here, I want to calculate my standard price. Okay, so standard price, saya akan ambil, okay, material cost is 70,000. Okay, that's the material cost, the estimated material cost. Okay, and the material use is 50 kg. So saya nak tahu berapa saya punya standard price per unit. Okay, so what I will do is, all right, I will take this one, this item here. Okay, I'm going to put this in red. So as you can see here, the standard price here is 70,000 RM, 70,000 divided by 50 kgs. So you get the standard price per unit is actually RM1.40, RM1.40. Okay, can I straight away use this figure and gantikan ke dalam matrix or in the formula? Yes, because the item is in RM, so saya boleh terus ambil the one per unit. Okay, tetapi for standard quantity, we know it's quantity, right? And your standard hours, these two items is not in RM. Bukan dalam bentuk ringgit Malaysia. Okay, sebab standard quantity is in unit. Okay, whether it's kg, meters and all. Standard hours is in hours lah. Alright. So these two items, bila kita dah dapat per unit, you can't straight away take the figures and gantikan ke dalam bersamaan. You need to find the item in the total first, and then you can only use the figures and masukkan ke dalam bersamaan. Okay, apa maksud madam dengan total tu? Okay, contoh saya nak cari SQ. Okay, so SQ, I will refer to my material use. Okay, material saya gunakan ialah 50,000 kg. Yang ni digunakan untuk keluarkan 25,000 unit. So untuk satu unit produk berapa kg? Jadi saya akan ambil 50 kg tadi. Saya bahagikan dengan 25 kg to get the standard quantity per unit. Okay, so my standard quantity per unit tadi will be 50 kg divided by 25 units. So saya dapat per unit of standard quantity is 2 kg. Tapi I cannot straightaway use this 2 kg saya kena cari dia dalam bentuk total keseluruhan. That means I will take my standard quantity per unit tadi, saya akan darabkan dengan actual unit produce. Okay, actual unit produce is in the question itself. This one. Kita takkan guna 25 ya. 25 is estimated. You are going to use the actual unit produce. Okay. So bila kita dah multiply dengan actual unit produce, you get the amount of 40,000 kgs. This is actually your standard quantity. Okay, so sama juga macam standard hours. Bila you dah kira untuk satu unit, you akan dapat 4 jam. Okay, 4 hours. I cannot straight away use the 4 hours. I need to multiply the 4 hours with the actual unit produced as well, which is 20,000 just now. Okay, so my standard hours is actually 80,000 unit. Okay, then only saya boleh gantikan ke dalam persamaan. Okay, so your items, which is your standard price, and your standard values, which is your standard price and standard rate. The item is in RM per unit. That one can be straight away used in the formula. Tapi untuk SQ dengan SH per unit yang you dapat dari pengiraan, you need to multiply with the actual unit produced dulu, baru kita boleh darab, baru kita boleh gantikan ke dalam formula. Okay, so in your question, you can either use this. Okay, that means kita cari dulu apa dia AQ, AP and SP, gantikan dalam persamaan. Okay, but you can also use the expanded version. Okay, kita akan ambil AP, AQ, apa, kita akan minus dengan spark to get the answer. Okay, the answer will still be the same. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this is how you go about with the with topic 10. So you must remember, if the question gave you the actual figures and also the budgeted figures, we can't straight away do the calculations. You need to terbitkan dulu. Okay, you need to calculate the standard values dulu, baru kita boleh gantikan ke dalam persamaan. Okay, so this is for topic 10. Okay. All right. So I'll go straight to topic 11. Okay, topic 11 is actually not so difficult kalau kita boleh faham apa maksud relevant cost and apa maksud irrelevant cost. Okay, so whenever you get a question on topic 11, the first thing that you need to know is asingkan dulu yang mana your relevant cost and your irrelevant cost. So you kena faham relevant cost tu dia akan mempengaruhi kita punya decision making. Irrelevant cost won't be affecting our decision making. So yang tu kita akan omit. Sebab in the question sometimes they give you both. So you need to faham betul-betul apa maksud relevant cost and irrelevant, so that when you do the calculations for your incremental analysis, okay, you will be using only the relevant costs involved. Okay, so untuk make or buy, okay, we are actually calculating the product cost. So bila kita kira cost, so our decision is based on the lower cost. Kita akan ambil yang lebih rendah. And kita faham, kita nak calculate product cost. So kalau product cost, that means the item that is involved is your direct material, your direct labor, your variable manufacturing overhead, and there are two more additional items. Okay, yang ini depends on the question requirement itself. You ada opportunity cost and also avoidable fixed cost. Okay, so fixed cost normally is not added into the table. Tapi kalau ada avoidable fixed cost, then only you'll take the item and put inside the table. Okay, so make sure you must list down the product cost item in details. In details, that means kita mesti letak dalam pengiraan di dalam bracket how many units you are going to produce, multiply dengan the price per unit. Okay, so let's say dia 4,000 unit, darab RM RM2. So in the make column should be 8,000 ringgit. You don't simply write 8,000 sahaja without showing how many units is involved and how much is the cost per unit. Okay, so this is very important in the calculations in your incremental analysis. You must understand this is incremental analysis. So analysis must be in details. So walaupun kita kira 4,000 darab RM2 tu dalam calculator, it's very simple. You can straight away tick that 8,000 dah masukkan dalam table. Tapi kita kena faham we are doing analysis. So your answers must be thorough. That means must be complete and details. So I must show how I get my RM8,000. So the 4,000 multiplied by RM2 is very important, must be shown in the answer as well. Okay, so sebab kita nak make or buy tu, decision tu bergantung kepada cost yang paling rendah untuk buat decision. So kita akan ambil cost yang paling rendah. Kalau di ruangan make, nilai dia lebih rendah daripada buy, so my decision will be make. Kalau jumlah di buy lebih rendah daripada make, so my decision will be buy. Okay, sebab we are actually focusing on the product cost. Tapi kalau accept or reject, the one that we are calculating in the table is actually your contribution margin. Okay, so contribution margin is actually gross profit kan, lebih kurang macam gross profit. So kita faham dia ialah untung. So bila you buat accept or reject, kita tak akan ambil nilai yang paling rendah to do the decision. We'll take the highest value. Okay, so let's say in your accept column, okay, the total is bigger, okay, is more than the reject column. That means your decision will be accept. Tapi kalau it's vice versa, so your decision will be reject. Okay, and we'll do the positive side of the situation to do your conclusion. So might as well focus on making net profit rather than stating the net loss or decrease of net income. Okay, so kita akan cari decision yang paling baik. Lepas tu kita decide sebab dia akan meningkatkan keuntungan. Okay, will increase the net profit by how much? Okay, so this is easier for you to see without looking at the final answer, sama ada di dalam bracket ke atau tak dalam bracket, sebab setengah pelajar dia akan menghafal. Kalau bracket tu indicates what, kalau without the bracket indicates what. So it's easier for you kalau you just tengok kolom mana yang lebih besar nilai kalau untuk accept or reject to make the decision. Kalau make or buy, kita akan cari kolom mana yang lebih rendah nilai to make the decision whether to make or to buy. Okay, so one more thing that you need to understand, if you do the accept or reject decision in topic 11, okay, make sure the production does not exceed the normal capacity, the maximum capacity of the production. So it is very important to see whether the company is operating at full capacity or not. So if the company is already operating at the full capacity, so you don't need to consider the request by doing the calculation table. You can just simply reject the special order, but you must second your decision by a simple calculation which states that you are actually operating at the full capacity. So kita dah tak ada remaining capacity to do. So I am not able to consider the special order. Tapi let's say your company is not producing ataupun belum lagi mencapai full capacity for the production. That means you still have access, dan bila dia tambah special order tu, you still boleh cope dengan jumlah yang dia minta. Okay, so I can consider to do the accept or reject. Okay, so you kena faham bila special order ni, you are actually, he is the one that is making special order, sebenarnya bukanlah pelanggan biasa you. Maybe like dia sebenarnya macam ni, dia cuma menumpang mesin kita untuk produce. Okay, let's say we are in the same line of business. Okay, so he is also a manufacturer of this component, and you are also a manufacturer of this component, right? And suddenly one of the machine dekat company dia rosak, so he want to proceed with the production, tapi dia tak boleh manage dah sebab machine dia dah rosak. So dia tahu kita belum beroperasi pada full capacity, so dia make a special order untuk tumpang machine kita to produce the remaining komponen yang masih belum siap tu. So actually in a way sebenarnya we are helping that particular company to produce. Sebab tu kalau you perhatikan, the special order normally is sold at a lesser price. Okay, kenapa lesser price? Sebab dia bukan pelanggan kita. Kita cuma tolong dia tumpangkan mesin kita untuk produce barang. Okay, so apa yang kita tanggung dalam production tersebut, okay, kita hanya menanggung product cost sahaja. Okay, so that means bila saya masukkan penyiraan for the contribution margin, okay, I will make sure my variable cost that will be deducted from the sales, okay, has nothing to do with any selling activities. Sebab saya hanya tolong dia produce, so that variable cost hanya yang ada kaitan dengan production saja. Okay, so let's say you have sales commission or whatnot. Okay, normally sales commission tu tak ada kaitan dengan special order lah. Sebab that sales is not for your sales. Kita yang akan uruskan sales tu adalah company dia sendiri. Sebab dia hanya tumpang company kita untuk buat production sahaja. So any expenses regarding the sales of the items depends on that company itself. So dia sendiri akan tanggung. Okay, tapi mungkin kita akan tanggung tambahan sekiranya let's say kita tolong dia produce special order tu, you need to do a special packing for this person sebab you tak boleh terus just like hantar benda tu loose contohnya. So when you are acquired to top up the amount for the special packing, that amount will be added into your variable cost. Okay, so besides that, kalau tak, you just will add all the variable costs which is incurred during the production. That means your direct material, your direct labor, and also your variable manufacturing overhead saja, variable cost yang related to produce the special order. To produce the special order, bukan to produce and do the sales for that particular company. You are only helping him to continue with his manufacturing for the component. Okay, so that's why we call it special order. Dan kenapa dia nak tumpang dekat kita dan kita sanggup buat? Sebab we are not operating at full capacity yet. Okay, maksudnya mesin kita belum beroperasi pada full capacity, so I still can produce more. It's just that I'm not producing more sebab saya punya target for manufacturing is just that particular number saja. Okay, so saya masih boleh tambah lagi production tu, tapi I am using that access, okay, untuk tolong dia produce komponen untuk company dia. Sales ke apa-apa perbelanjaan variable cost yang lain yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan production, itu ditanggung oleh syarikat yang buat special order tu. It's not by me. So that's why for your accept or reject, you won't add up any additional sales or admin variable cost. That won't be actually included in your special order sebenarnya. Okay, sebab kita cuma tumpang mesin kita untuk produce sahaja. That's why the price for you to sell the component that you manufacture to that company that made the special order is normally lesser than the normal price yang you biasa buat untuk jual your own component. Okay, all right. So that's about all for topic 10 and topic 11. Okay, so I hope you'll do your best. All right, and all the best for AE 025, and hopefully all of you will get A for AE 025. Okay, thank you. All the best.